Maritimo M55, ladies and gentlemen, competitor to the Riviera 54 enclosed Flybridge, possibly the Viking 54 for some of you, although probably not so much, and an absolute weapon of a thing. 3 cabins, 2 heads, a super neat and stylish tender storage solution on this one. I think this boat could be the big daddy of the adventure motherships, the boat that a lot of you aspire to own after you've had everything else. So welcome to Rose Bay. This is a nice place in a southeast breeze, which it is today. We weren't at another spot later on, but earlier on, I should say, but the wind changed. So our plan had to change with it. But here we are in a couple of meters of water, and we are on the adventure deck. And I think I'm really starting to like this style that they've done out the back here. I don't have a lot of experience with Flybridge motor yachts, so this is a bit new for me personally. I've done a lot more sedans, but I'm keen to do more of this because after the few hours of driving that we've done today, I think I get it. I think I get the extra real estate and the comfort that you can achieve in something like this. If you've come from many boats under 50 feet in the past doing all sorts of different adventurous activities, but now your family has grown and you need a bit of a mothership that's capable and has range and you can set up with everything you need, well, this boat's going to do it for you. So let's get cracking. First thing, a decent barbie. That's good quality, stainless steel, flat plate, and then we have a little sink just in here. So that's really nicely done. Very smart, and I can see the little safety off switch in the corner there. This is the easy access into a ginormous storage area, which is also your tender storage. We obviously have the tender stored on the back here, so that's another option. We're gonna open that later on in the video and show you this thing in its entirety, because it is amazing. But that's the easy access that you get down there. There's a proper little latch in here, and then you can close it up. That's really cool because a lot of boats of this style and size in the past had the tenders out the back or up on the bow. And I think if you want to keep the lines nice and clean, that's a good solution. Or if you're just doing long cruising and you need storage for all that stuff that you want to drag along with you, all those water toys that you're probably now using and enjoying, you can do that now. Proper big fridge here, that's drained, but it's got a cold plate in it as well. There you go. And when the tender is in the water, we have railings which can enclose the back of the boat, give you a little bit of safety and make this area a lot more usable from that perspective. So I'm gonna enter the starboard side and then we'll start covering. I think we will do the inside before walking around the decks and heading upstairs at the end. There really is a lot to cover on this boat, so it's gonna be a long one. Sit down. I hope you've already been to the toilet. Stainless steel grab handle, nice cleat just here, well done. We've got some ventilation just there and another cleat here. Straight away, we've got some good line storage, I would say, or if you had a second shore power cable, that might also be a good place just to store it if you need. Come and have a look in here, Blaine. So look how they've recessed this kid and doggy door just to fit in like that. That's very smart. You know, often when you're boarding a boat, you're going to have a duffel bag over your shoulder, and if this was out here and you're walking, you might catch it. It's just all those little annoyances that someone's clearly put some attention into and thought about. Hot and cold shower just there. Obviously you can get back into the boat with the platform down, would be the most luxurious way to board. We've got a rod and drink holder just there, and then we're under a huge amount of shade. So just let's point out where the fiberglass stops. So the structure of the boat just stops here, just bathing this whole area in shade, but they have actually extended it with a real solid stainless steel and quite a nice material. Not sure what that is. It's not Sunbrella. It looks like it's more longer lasting stuff. Giving us protection. That's going to give us protection from the rain and the sun because it's all the way out almost to the extremity of the barbecue just here. So you could be sitting in here in light rain and in the midday sun, you're going to be really well protected. We've also got our aft facing camera, which is repeated upstairs at the helm so we can see what's going on when we are up there. Some nice detailings on the ceiling. Just here we've got some leather strips in the middle, fiberglass downlights. They look like they're all LED over this beautifully varnished table. And the fixed seat here, yeah, it's quite comfortable. Yeah, foam's thick, it's good on your bum, the right amount of angle, and you can just put your arm over it, do this, do that, and you do have a little bit of protection from the wind, more in the middle obviously, so that's all pretty good just there. These are the hinges which allow this huge, big, tender garage storage area to be accessed electrically, which we're going to do later in the video. Now over here on the port side, we do have the shore power plug-in. So we've got two plugs here. I can see a town water connection, fresh water. That's probably the platform down. I haven't actually done that myself yet today, but I can assume that is what it is. And see this cutout here? That's logical for allowing cables to come out in a neat fashion. And then when that's closed, that's all quite nice. So that makes a lot of sense. Now we've got some protection from the wind here, just with this see-through plastic. And this is really cool. If you're interested in a test drive, we're going to link to that at the end of this video, because we have taken the boat out in the ocean and practiced it with the joystick, because we're on a shaft drive boat with hydraulic variable speed thrusters that can all be controlled through the joystick. This isn't new technology. I've done this on boats before and you've seen me do this on the channel, but this stuff, or this setup on this particular boat, is exceptional. You don't even notice it going in and out of gear. It's IPS-like feeling is what you achieve, and I was very impressed with that. Okay, so we got a fire emergency release just here. This is the lazarette up and down, and then we got our batteries on and off just there. This is access into the engine bay. It's incredibly impressive. It's huge. We're going to do that towards the end of the video because I want to focus on this. So for those of you looking for real estate because you've got expanding families or we want to take out big groups, that's where you're probably going to see value in a motor yacht of this style, because we've just got so much real estate to play with. But look at the headroom just entering here. We've come up this one step just here, and I also came up one step from the aft section of the adventure deck, and that serves the purpose of any water coming up on the back platform. It doesn't actually it hits that step. If you came off the gas a little bit quickly and some water came onto the back of the boat, it's going to stop it and this area remains dry. So we have this little step here. We can throw all of our shoes underneath to keep it clean. As you can see, we've put ours on the starboard side. And this door concertinas all the way across to give you complete flow through. So it feels like a really modern house is the vibe that you get on board straight away. We have blinds all the way around. So we've got these ones just here. You can slightly see through them. Can you see that, Blaine? Can you see that? Yep. So that just cuts down some evening, the strong light if you needed to do that, and gives you a little bit of privacy. But you come straight into the galley, and it's nice having it centrally mounted. Lots of boats are doing this now, but with throw chairs or director's chairs out the back, you have the option to take the whole party from here to there. But the other thing the thing I'm going to point out straight away, what they've done is allowed us to open these side windows all the way to here. So we have, this is 1 meter plus of opening, simple sliding window. It's never going to break down on you. And the feeling that you have in here, just enjoying these views and the fresh breeze, it's only about maximum 12 knots of southeasterly. It's got a little bit of chill in it today, but it's just really nice. So rather than coming inside and having to use the air conditioning because you don't have that option or the windows are tiny, I think that's quite practical and I think it's sensible. But let's check out this galley. There's a lot to look at. So I'm going to start on the port side and then we'll make our way around, because it's broken up with this island that gives you something to grab onto, and also it's a nice workable space. We've got to have all our light switches here. You can operate the blinds, which are separated, so you can just do the door or the window, because the concertina will come to here and then just allow you to enter just with the one door if you need. Pay attention to how all of the drawers and cupboards, as we make our way around, they're double secured, so good for when you're in a seaway. But come in and have a look at this. How cool is that? that's neat. Good use of space, stainless steel. It's just a pantry, but I think that's very well done. That can be secured just there. Actually, no, this one's probably going to be for the wine cooler because we've got double security here. There we go. Yeah, it is. So that's the wine cooler. That's pretty fancy. And then that secures that there. And then we've got storage. I'm not going to open everything because it'll take too long if I open all of the drawers. Basically, we have a dishwasher drawer underneath here. We've got all of our cutlery drawers, lots of storage. We've got the 4-burner, this is Millet induction. I think these are burners on this side, but they're square shaped. So if someone knows what these modern Millets are all about, please explain it to me in the comments. I can see a small burner, a large burner, and then 2 squares here. So maybe that's induction and maybe that's not. I don't know. I don't cook enough, obviously. But over here is definitely for champagne, as you can see. Boom. We've got 240 plugs behind me. I've got the safety or the on-off for the cooktop just in there. I've got a nice sink just in here, hot and cold tap just there. And then we've got, once again, we got 2 stoves. I don't fully understand that either. So if anyone who cooks more than me, can you explain, or is that just because we're having big parties? Maybe that's just because you need someone to do the sausage rolls and the pies. Maybe that's what it's about. I'm not actually too sure. And this is cool. Sensible use of space. Make things easy for you. So if you're trying to get to something at the back, well, they've already thought of that for you. Consider it. I like that. Whoever designed this was thinking about it. Fridge, once again, double secured. Good size. Freezer underneath that. Just looks like a normal freezer, so we don't need to open it. Couple of storage shelves in here, and then drawers forward. Boom, 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 boom. We'll just open the middle one, and I believe they're all soft close. So that's pretty good. So we're on the timber floor just here. And then to go into the saloon, which I'm going to do now, I think I've covered everything. You would just go up 1 step. Just pay attention to the vibe that you get from the roof. Can you see that on the camera there, Blaine? That's quite nice. So when you go up this step, I'm 5'7". This is how much headroom I have above my head. Obviously, I'm gaining a lot more when I go into the galley. So for you tall guys and girls, just factor that in. It feels like 6 foot plus, but I don't really know because I'm not used to standing at that altitude. But underneath all these seats, I've lifted them up. They're not on gas struts, but they're all deep, good storage. So if you're doing the Whitsundays trip in winter from Sydney or Melbourne or wherever you are, this seems like a logical place to store extra food perhaps, but because you have that large lazarette down aft, which could be the tender storage, that also might be another place to store things if you need. The windows I mentioned are wonderful. I really am a fan of that. This table just here actually expands, so let's just show you that it's timber on both sides, and you can see they've done a unique shape, so that also allows for extra space to pass through, is my assumption of the design just there. Grab handles, we got some and more charging. They're dotted all around the boat, and they have 240 and 12 volt plugs for you to plug in your phones. This is a pop-up flat screen just here, and there's another one upstairs which we'll see later on as we make our way through. Air conditioning controls just here, and we have got the genset on, so when we're going down through the cabins, just have a listen because the sound insulation is very, very good. The only thing we're going to hear is probably the chain from, you know, when we get a few waves going past and causing it to bounce around a bit. So going down these stairs just here, the fuel tanks we'll see later on in the video. There's 3 of them and they're centrally mounted, but the water tank's here. So that's more clever thinking because that's going to help balance out the boat quite well. You've got the hot water, the main water storage, and then looks like I've got a sump tank mid-bilge, and some ventilation and fuses. So that's all quite clever, I think, the way that's been designed. We'll go straight forward into this VIP, and you'll notice that this is not like many boats we've toured because it's offset. This is pretty cool. So beautiful big island bed. Quite nice. You could sit up. That's the chain just bouncing around. You could sit up in bed quite comfortably, but check this out. Look at the storage under there. That's epic. So if your guests have arrived from the airport and they have luggage, this is a logical place to put it. You have drawers on both sides of the bed. You have all of this space around, and then you have a proper hanging locker on starboard. And the head, this is the day head, and it's also has private access to the VIP. So we're stepping up and onto some marble, and then we have marble finishes all the way around, and then into the shower, it's proper glass with stoppers as well. So that's never gonna open in a seaway because it's got a really good stopper on it. So that's quite clever. Access in here and here. This mirror is fixed, and this one is some shallow storage just there. And we've even got our own heated towel rack. So that's cool. So private access, but then it's also the day head and access for this cabin, the kiddies cabin, which we're just gonna cross straight over to starboard. Just look at how nicely they've finished off these cupboards as well, timber lined, lights, that's quite fancy. And into this cabin, we got 2 singles at the moment, little bit of natural ventilation out through that porthole just there. You can see out the window, but this bed here will slide and join this one on the starboard side, so you can turn it into a double. We've got some charging in the middle, light switches. But come on down 1, 2 steps and into the master. So this is nice, and this is clearly the most peaceful part of the boat. So any anchor noise or water slapping around, that's where your guests are. You don't have to worry about that because you're going to be back in the middle of the boat. Before we get there, the washer dryer is just here. This is the door to the cabin, and I just want to point out we have rubber seals on all of the doors, so that's going to be good for sound insulation. Come on in. Hanging storage just in here. The light pops on. We've got 2 doors just there. Come on in and check this out. How good's this? So the piece, I think, that you get in here is quite enjoyable. You can imagine yourself sitting up in bed, looking out through these windows as the sun comes up, and you just get a nice space of your own. The genset's on, so you can hardly hear it. So the sound insulation's great. You're walking around on this soft carpet, and then the vibe is quite pleasant. I think it's not overstated, it's just elegant. That's what it is. I feel elegant in here. Let me know what you think. But as we pass on port and starboard, we have these drawers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's replicated again on starboard. So you can both have places to put your things. The bedside tables on either side actually have a unique little hideaway locker. I'll show you on that side, Blaine. So you got a place to hide things in here. You can charge your phones and then hide them away. And then you've also got one and a proper drawer in here as well. So neatly done. I think it's cool. I just think the vibe's really cool. This is a good place to sit down, put your shoes on, and then we actually have a hanging locker just in here for some of your coats. Flat screen TV. I like the styling through here. It's just elegant. And then up we go, because there's lots more to see, guys. Let's keep going. Before I do that, I better show you the head. So come on in. It's the marble finish. We got the separate shower again. This one feels slightly bigger. Yeah, I think it is bigger. And definitely the heated towel rack and the storage behind the mirror is larger because the other one just had the single opening. And then an air conditioning vent, 240. You can control the towel rack from within, and you step down, but there is a ledge. So the water in the shower is going to drain properly, but if you still had water in this main part, it's not going to make its way into the carpet. Same again for the other head, so that's clever. Leather wrapped grab handles. And I like this timber up the middle, because of an evening, this soft light is going to bounce its way off the roof and create quite a nice pleasant vibe for you. And if you want the privacy, we have those same blinds, but these ones, you can't see through these ones. So that one has got like a bit of a see-through-iness, but these ones don't. Oh, maybe they've got the control so you can angle them. I think that's what they are. Okay, so you probably can do both. So, up we go. 240 and 24 volt Genset control here as well. House, battery control there. Storage, AC. Come on up. So first thing that was noticeable from the drone when I was flying it this morning, looking at it from afar, you see there is an overhang in terms of the design of the Flybridge up here. So, you know, the design comes up like that. And what that seems to be doing for us is giving us a lot more beam in this space. So she's more like 57 feet overall, maybe a little bit more. But for the size of boat, we really are achieving quite a lot, because I can chill here and feel like I'm on the saloon of a 50-footer up here on the Flybridge. I mean, with this flow through, with those concertina doors, that back lounge that we're going to have a look at in a second, you could hang out here quite comfortably. We don't have stabilization, by the way, guys. There is 12 knots, you know, of breeze blowing. We do have boat wash. There's ferries passing us. So this is the boat's inherent stability. I've been pretty impressed, like, for the whole day today, just cruising around, taking it in the ocean, as to the weight and balance of this thing, because obviously we have a lot of weight aloft. I'm a sailor. I notice that when I go yacht racing. You're always paying attention to that sort of stuff, and this boat feels well done. So come over here and let's check out the helm. She's a comfortable helm. You could be very happy to sit and drive from a seated position for a long period of time, or standing. The transition is good. Both navigator and captain have these footrests just here, and these are all adjustable. This feels like ultra leather. It's very, very nice. I got a drink holder just to starboard of me. I've got individual wiper controllers. I've got trim tabs forward of that. Then I've got my throttle controls just there. So if I was just sitting on autopilot doing a long distance drive, I'd be super happy just observing, sitting on 20 knots, burning the diesel and having a great day from here. But then if I need to get active and control the boat, flip up that footrest just like that, and then I've got plenty of space. The wheel is adjustable. I can slide this window open all the way back here. So that's pretty handy. Now, you don't need to park the boat from up here because we have the lower control, but if you are coming in and need to get out, increase your visibility, or just say g'day to your mates, that's handy. So that's very good. I've got the twin disc joystick control forward of that. I've got the diagnostics display for the motors. I've got all the boat systems. Come in a bit closer, Blaine, and let everyone have a look. I've got all these switches along here. There's my chain counter. There is my spotlight control. That's my Garmin just there for the autopilot. That's the VHF. This is the Volvo Penta digital diagnostics, and then we have multifunction displays. Obviously you can cycle through and display whatever you want, from radar to GPS sounder. We've got some cameras, engine room, and out the back, as I mentioned before, we've got triple windscreen wipers on this one. They've all got the inbuilt wash function. We've got our Plastimo compass, 1, 2, 3 air conditioning outlets. And I want you to pay attention. You won't see it from there, but I'll cut to some drone shots. The overhang of the roof just here, I noticed this when I was driving, because the downstairs there's a decent amount of overhang which bays the lower windows with a lot of shade. So that's great for a comfort factor on a hot day when the hot summer sun is high in the sky. But having the less overhang up here where we are driving, we need visibility, and say we might be going under a bridge and kind of it's good to see what's going on. I think it's a safer, more sensible design to have less of an overhang up here. So just a little observation, I thought that was good. This is a wonderful place to hang out. Obviously with this glass here, you can't be much taller than me to be comfortable from this position, but you can be as tall as you like from this position and then talk to the skipper just there. So that's probably what most people are going to do, and put your feet up just here and enjoy yourself. All of this is leather wrapped. It's very, very nicely done. We've got some forward facing, but also with fly screens and block out sun. We had that down in the cabins as well, and I noticed they even had pull out stainless steel ladders for people with short legs like me, but for emergency escape is what I'm talking about. So a little bit of storage. This is the second pop-up TV just here, so that's where we hang out, and I think we really need to appreciate this because it's super cool. I haven't actually, I've just discovered something. I was sitting on this, I was lying on this to fly the drone today because I didn't want you to see me. I look stupid if you can see me. That's cool, it's a coffee table. Just slides around. How nice is that? You can do, I would probably have it like that. Isn't that great? So if you need to get up and go and do something, you can just flip it out of the way. And then if you want to put your feet up to watch the TV, awesome. That's great, I love that. So these are the concertina doors that we saw downstairs replicated up here, basically. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to concertina them all the way. You can just access the deck like this. Teak, and welcome. What a cool space this is. So, yeah, I just like the flow through on this. I feel like you're probably going to be hanging out up here more than you would downstairs when you're underway, because you've got an incredible amount of protection from the sun. Once again, we have this extended shade up here. We've got 2 more opening hatches if you just want to get natural air through. So the options are many. We can suck in air from the side windows, the roof, or just out the sides here where I am right now, and enjoy yourself on a long passage. What's underneath here? Okay, so that's probably another good storage place. It's drained, could be good for life jackets. This one here opens, same again, highly polished timber table just here. That appears to be fixed, although it looks removable, so you don't have to have it in place from what I gather. And then I could also see some drop down, oh yeah, some drop down meshes. That's cool. So if the weather changed or if the sun got too hot, you could just drop these down, zip them on here, and enclose this area in a mesh screen. Even if there was too many bugs, then you've got the option to keep this area usable. Excellent. Good thinking. Okay, here's a bin. Does that pull out? Oh, that's just okay. So a bin drops in there, I think. That's what that is. And then we've got hot and cold sink just here. That's fiberglass. And then storage under here for the covers. That's all pretty good. Come on down. Let's go check out the bow. And then I think we're going to have to go downstairs from there and go into the engine bay, because she's twin 800 horsepower Volvos, shaft diesel, variable speed bow thrusters and stern thruster. So I know a lot of you are going to be attracted to the setup on this boat, because many of you write to me wanting me to tour more shaft drive boats. So that's access or ventilation to the engine bay. This is for your springers. We come up the one step just here. So here is one of our diesel ins, but we have the same again on port as well. And I notice you have the center tank and the 2 wing tanks, and they all drain into the center tank. So that's kind of clever. But just look at this window. How good's this? You could jump in and out of there, but I'm not sure why you would, but you could. Fantastic. Now this is the overhanger I was talking about. It's going to cut out some of that midday sun and just stop too much heat load, because let's face it, you know, big pieces of glass like that are going to attract a lot of heat. Also pay attention to the sides here. So because of this design that we're looking at here, rain that falls on the boat is going to get actually just drained out and go through the drains on deck rather than over the side and causing streaks on the side of your boat. If you've seen boats that have sat on a mooring for too long and have streaks, that's what's going on. There's the other cleat for springers, good stainless. The welds are all very nice and highly polished too, so that's good. Come and have a look at the anchoring setup. We've anchored the boat a couple of times today. So first thing I want to point out, so it's a big Muir windlass, nice stainless up the front here, and it's in a bit of a dam. So if it's coming up muddy and you need to clean it, you can do. So that is access. You know, that looks like fender storage, to be fair, guys. That looks like fender storage. And then we can operate this anchor from the helm, but we've got down and up foot buttons just here. And this one is locked. So, oh no, it's not. My bad. Okay, there you go. Now we can see the chain. And we've got a freshwater wash down as well, and that's the handle to tighten the clutch just there, so we can do rope or chain. So the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and I could resolve it just with a different roller, because this chain, as when we're in the strong wind, it flips off the roller and then we can hear it banging around, and that would annoy me at night time. So I'd just put a bigger roller on it to resolve that. There must be an optional. Oh, look, okay, so you've got a pad to mount a crane. So you probably still can, if you want to have a dinghy up on the bow or a bigger tender, they've probably still allowed for that, because that's clearly the mounting pad for a crane. Awesome. So they're really giving you a lot of options. This really is an adventure platform. I like it. So 1, 2, 3 hatches. These ones open side to side. That one opens forward. Let's go aft and check out that storage area for the tender. So check this out, guys. This is seriously impressive. The amount of space we have down here. I can see that looks like a high pressure wash system that's built into the boat. That must be the holding tank over there, and a little bit of storage. You can even see the exhaust heading out, but they've quite sensibly protected all the steering gear behind us just here. We've got these stairs to go up and out, and this is the door just above me here that you would ordinarily access when you want to do it just in a quick fashion. But I want you guys to jump online and look up a company called Offshore Cruising Tenders. They make carbon fiber yacht tenders made in New Zealand, and they're super cool looking. I've driven one myself. They get on the plane with as tiny amount of horsepower, an 8 horsepower little Mercury outboard. You'll get one of their 3-meter versions on the plane. But I'm just imagining the looks of this thing, an offshore cruising tender, even though this Ital rib is super bougie as well, an offshore cruising tender would look so cool on one of these, and they're just a great platform for, you know, going surfing, fishing, doing all your stuff, because they're carbon fiber with wraparound foam, and because they're a solid structure, you have a lot of carrying capacity. So if you are adventure minded, then that's what they will cater to. These are the rails that go on the back. You probably worked that out already. So anyway, come on, let's go and have a look in the engine bay. So we'll just go through this main hatch that I spoke about before. So this is the primary access into the engine bay, and just pay attention, even with the tender storage open, it doesn't interfere with the table. Now I've just thrown a couple of fenders down here because I was being lazy. Maybe come past me the camera and come with me, and then you can follow me down if you like, Blaine. But this is impressive. So we've got the Volvo 800 on a straight shaft. Just want to show you there. And there's the exhaust going out. I'm going to go forward and I'll point out these fuel tanks. So this is the main tank just here, which both of them, see this with those valves open. You have 2 wing tanks. That's the starboard one. We won't be down here for too long because it's quite hot. And that's the port one. But just, I'm 5'7", I'm standing up. Look at the quality of the fixtures, the fittings, the insulation, and the amount of space we have. This is a 55-foot boat. She's more like 57 feet, but this is pretty impressive. Got our fuel filters. We got some power distribution. We got our fireboy system there. The 2 wing tanks, the primary ventilation, engine room, camera just there. These floorboards lift up underneath me. Straight shafts, but just look at how everything's been done. This is plastic, not timber. So you can get into there, look at that. We've got our own gen set. That's, I think it was 27 kVA. And just out the back, look at the hydraulic manifold just there. And then probably batteries underneath Blaine's feet where he is just there. But I think this is a very professional engine bay. You know, look how light and bright and how much space we have. This is what I really like about this boat. That's the amount of space that we're playing with. Okay, it's hot. This is really hot, so let's get out of here. Had to come up here into the fresh air after that hot engine bay. That's the boat, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. This is the first Maritimo that I have done for the channel, and I got to say, I don't have any experience with Maritimos. This is my first Maritimo I've ever driven, and I thought it was a cool piece of kit. So who is this boat? Who's it good for? I think if you're the sort of person with a growing, expanding family and you're looking for real estate, definitely. If you are an adventurous-minded person, so you want to go play with toys, all sorts of water toys, this is going to be a really good platform for you, because it's also going to be great for going to remote destinations. We've got 4,500 litres of fuel. It's a simple setup being a shaft drive, and so it's going to be a wonderful, comfortable, practical platform. So if that's you, you're probably going to get a lot of value out of something like this. Who's it not good for? Well, if you really vibe on the Euro styling, this is not Euro styling. It's clearly more Aussie American vibe. So if that's what you are, you know, looking for in terms of the Euro styling, it's not going to be for you. Anyway, guys, you've been watching Dan's Boat Life. My name's Dan Jones. Don't forget to subscribe. Please support the channel. I do have a Patreon. I would value some of you jump on there and support me there if you can. We're going for a drive now. So if you liked the look of this boat and you want to see how she performs, you're invited. We're doing that right now. I'll pop a link up on the screen. We are going to go out into the ocean. We'll talk about everything we discover. So just click on the link right now and join me.